Welcome back to Gaming Assembled. Today is part 3 of our 867 Orvieto roleplay series. Thank you for joining us. Before we start, we'd love to hear from you. So like, comment and subscribe to the channel and interact with us on social media. And thank you to Dudley Price and Slater Ella for subscribing already. Let's get started. Okay, so jumping back in. Welcome back to Italy. And so we'll carry on. We will see where we go on. So last time we were looking at obviously things had happened. Obviously our queen had been killed under curious circumstances, and we have our suspicions about our new king and his Christian values. Our liege, the Duke, it went on a pilgrimage, so maybe he's trying to change his colours a little bit. Maybe he's trying to be a better ruler, a better person for his people. Maybe that's the case. We shall see. We've still got our alliance with our neighbour, Godfredo, next door. He's obviously more up our street in terms of being a good Christian ruler, as a theologian. And things. So, that's where we were at last time. We also got remarried. Our first wife sadly passed away, and we had a period of mourning. And she died in childbirth, and since then we got remarried to Kat, because I can't pronounce her full name. And we've had a second son, and things, and he's a genius. And yes, the backstory for how we met Kat was that she was on her way from Brittany. She's from Brittany originally, and she was on her way through across land to Rome, to the Vatican, for learning, basically, to try and improve herself and her learning. She's a wise woman and things, and so she was doing that. She's also obviously adventurous and things, and she can look after herself along the way and things. But we met in the marketplace, and she just obviously completely beguiled me, and we just instantly sort of fell for each other. And so that was sort of how we met and how things went, and it's a lovely story. It's great. Obviously, we're living happily ever after, although she's a bit poorly at the moment, so that's that. Commander promoted. My marshal, Ferdulf, has been showing off a promising new recruit. He may not be of as noble stock as you, my liege, but on my name I swear that Bernard is someone you would want on your side. Well, I don't think that would bother us all that much, whether he's of noble stock or not. All we bother about is he a good man? That's what really matters to us. And with the looks of things, yes. I mean, he's got a bit of a temper, but again, he's a guy who, hits people with swords for a living. He's got to have a bit of aggression about him, I suppose. But he's patient, and he's God-fearing, he's a zealot, so most definitely. He can definitely serve us. That's not a problem at all. Again, my usual stipulation, we could do with finding him a nice Christian wife. Now, we happen to have someone suitable at our court already, and so that might work nicely. Great. There we go. They're married. Lovely. And instead, obviously, we can house Ortharing. We can perhaps keep an eye on. And, maybe down the road, if there's we have lands to hand out somewhere in the future, then maybe, these houses that have served us for generations, maybe, if at that point, maybe that's something we can look at in terms of giving them land, giving them a title. We shall see how we go. I mean, in the meantime, I suppose what we could consider is whether we, needed to give any court positions to any one of our, any of our particular friends and followers. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we would. Maybe we wouldn't. Who's this? Oh no! So our heroes died. So the Pope, His Holiness the Pope, has died at the age of 74. So he has been someone who we have role modelled ever since the beginning. Since our childhood, we've modelled ourselves on him. His influence, even before he was Pope, when he was merely a cardinal, was something that was of particular heroism to us. His actions, his behaviour towards others was just something we particularly looked up to. And so let's see this new Pope. I mean, he's a young Pope, 30. Wow. They don't often have him that young. So let's have a look at him. So he's an honourable altruist. He's gregarious, he's trusting, he's lazy. Well, I think we would naturally we want to befriend the Pope. Obviously we are sort of, there you go. There's no success chance. We're not going to manage it. I wonder why that is. Why can we not befriend him? That seems odd, but does it say no success chance? He's our head of faith. So it must just be a gamey thing to help prevent you from utilising things, which is a bit bad. You should be able to befriend the Pope, be friends with him. Where's he from? He is from... So he speaks... Right, so he speaks that language. So don't think we know that language, so... Who are we doing? We are befriending somebody at the moment, aren't we? Befriending him. So once that's finished, I think we might look at trying to learn his language, because we'd want to have a close relationship with the Pope. I mean, he's, even if it's not the guy we've hero worshipped all these years, he's still the Pope. He's still the head of our faith. So I'd be delighted if your son and heir Giano could visit my court in Ajaccio to meet his peers. I am inviting everyone of note, which unfortunately includes him. Well, that's not very nice, is it? I mean, it's nice that he's been invited, but not nice that he sort of is being spoken to in that way. Does you no service, sir? But I mean, he is the son of this liege who is, as I say, not always the nicest guy. He's charming but gluttonous, so he's sort of a Dudley Dursley kind of character. Maybe some people find him charming, but the rest of us just see a big fat pig, which maybe that's who he is. Maybe he will turn into a bit of a bully. We shall see. I think, though, we would value... I mean, we have diplomatic leanings, so I think we would send him. We'd send our son. He needs to learn to get along with these people to a certain degree. He needs to learn to work with them. So, that's something. Wet with tears, a courier comes bearing bleak tidings and a small black crate. My son... No! My son Giano drowned while playing with Maria. I can barely peer through my watering eyes into the box, but one glimpse confirms this is indeed the corpse of mine own darling. Oh no! So the last remnant of our first wife, of Brunhild, is now gone. Absolutely devastating. So he's the son that we've been sort of moulding from the beginning. Sort of the thinker, the bright star, the brave lad who we were grooming to take over our rule, has drowned. Oh no. So I hope he will be playing in heaven. Innocence is a fatal poison, and I wish the same fate on Maria. I don't think we would do that. We are a good Christian. Forgiveness is part of it. Although, I mean, just remind ourselves. So Maria is the one he was due to marry. So he was playing with her and he was due to marry her, but he's drowned in the process. Maybe she was a little bit too boisterous. Obviously, she was a bit of a tomboy. I mean, it doesn't say that she did it, but, she happened to be with him at the time. Oh, devastating. I think that top one's got to be the one. So, I mean, we've got to know that she has to know we don't blame her, because it doesn't say that she did anything. She was simply happened to be there. So, right, wow. I mean, devastating. I had so many hopes for you, my sweetest child, all the things you would learn, experience and do. There were so many possibilities, a whole life to live. Maybe you would have had children of your own one day, but now none of those things will ever come to be. Rest in peace, little Giano. I can't imagine that. There we go. I mean, this is it. I mean, his wife first went. She died first, and so then all we had left was him, and he was there through that awful time when she died, and then he's gone as well. Life has never been easy, but it feels like the loss of my son Giano has pushed me over the edge. I still remember him as a baby, so tiny, so fragile. Despite that, he survived, growing up, growing older, until now, when he suddenly stopped. I had so many hopes for his future, so many things I wished to see, which now can never come to pass. Wow. So, how do we move forward? How would he respond? I mean, how would we get over such a thing? I mean, I think naturally we'd fall back on our family, and obviously we have obviously our new wife, and we have our second son. Let's see. So obviously, I don't think we'd turn to drink. I mean, that's just not in us, I don't think. What's the point of eating when there's a hole in my heart? Well, I mean, there's a certain part of, there's something almost religious in not eating, so maybe it would go like that, but maybe I must press on. It's what he would have wanted. I think that would fit with us a bit better, to be honest. I mean, the whole diligence thing, the family connection, how we would want to be. I think that's what we have to do. But how we move forward and whatever will be very difficult. I mean, our wife, Kat, is currently pregnant again. So this is now our player heir, our new son, so Christian, which obviously an appropriate name for him. I think this would make us very protective of him now. I don't know if there's any way we could make him more protected, but I mean, the other thing it's done is it's taken away our alliance with our friend. I think, I don't know, would we re-establish that straight away? I mean, on a dynastic level, I mean, it would make sense, but, obviously it's us living up to our duty as protecting the people and protecting the realm and all this sort of stuff. Would it be too painful for him for our new son, our second son, to be engaged to marry Maria, though? I mean, would we want to practice forgiveness and, forgive her for her part in it? I mean, obviously, or make sure that she knows that we don't blame her, which, I mean, I think it's evident we don't. I think maybe we would. I think maybe we would still go with that. I mean, it's the greater good. It's something positive coming out of something so devastating. I think we'd need a crutch, something to lean on, and whatever. But it's just unbearable. we've lost our hero and our son within a matter of days of each other. I think pretty much, certainly weeks. And you know, I don't quite know how we move forward from that. As a person, I mean. My spymaster has come to me with grave news. We do not yet know who. Someone is plotting to kill my guest, Komita. Okay. And we have another son. With a tired yet blissful smile, Cat presents me with a perfect little son. Who will you become, my child, and what shall I call you? Well, I suppose, I mean, in a way we could call him after our son who passed away. I mean, maybe that would be something we would do, but maybe that would be too raw at this point. I think it'd be something religious. I mean, Pietro could just go for something like, we're obviously in Rome is St. Peter's, so we could just call him Peter. So that might be a good one. I think we'll go with that. St. Peter's Basilica in Rome is sort of named after that, or even a better one actually. I'll change his name in a second. We'll call him Nicholas after the Pope who died. That's what we'll do. We'll call him that. Let's think in terms of his education. I think again it's got to be a diplomatic leaning. It's what we or. Would it be more of a learning? I mean, maybe it would be more of a learning one with this one. I don't know. No, we'll stick with the diplomacy. It's what we lean towards. Yes, I think you know we do. It's who we are as a person. We're very diplomacy focused and things, and the education of our children in terms of bringing them up into grooming them for potential rule. I mean, this is obviously I suppose third son, but you know, I suppose the experience of Giano passing obviously teaches us that anything can happen, and so all our sons need to be ready to rule just in case. So I think going along those lines, diplomatic education for each of them, just the same. Is possibly the way forward. So let's have a look at this. Befriend the dance. So we are befriending our neighbour because he is the sort of person that we would naturally want to be friends with. I think he is incredibly Christian in his outlook. He's also brother to our liege, so obviously, you know, but I mean that's irrelevant really. But he's a good, honest Christian man who happens to live next door. So we'd want to get to know him, I think. After learning that Count Barado would be attending the dance in the castle town of Pisa, I decided that it would be the perfect occasion to pass by to ensure I get some face-to-face with him. The ball was exquisite, and Count Barado put on a fine show. Afterward, I told him how impressed I was, and we got to talking. What a good day. So that ends our scheme, and we only grew closer to forming a friendship with him. Well, I kind of wanted to be friends with him, but, you know, okay. So, alright. So we didn't quite make it to friends, but we're closer at least. Excommunication. So Duke Lambert has been excommunicated by Pope Sergius. So, oh, right, okay, so he's been excommunicated. So, we are obviously incredibly religious, and the idea is that people who are not part of that and things, we are not necessarily going to look kindly on. This guy is a murderer. He's obviously now been excommunicated. He's cynical and deceitful. He's greedy. He is not a good example of a Christian ruler. So I think we perhaps need to look at trying to do what we can do to relieve the suffering of the people under his rule. I mean, the difficulty we've got is he's a lot more powerful than us, so that is a difficulty. But can we do something about that? Could we? I mean, so he's got 378 men. We've got about 700, maybe just shy of 800 men between us so far. He's got 1,000 on his own. Then he's got 2 allies, so 258, and I think the other one was 700. So we're talking about 2,000 men in total. So I'd need somebody with a fair bit of clout, fair bit of power, which isn't that guy. I mean, we could look at trying to get an alliance with him, actually. I mean, that might be a good thing. That might be what we would do, obviously wanting to be friends with him and things, but a stronger ally, maybe that would be good too. I mean, does he have anyone in his family? Looks like a good Christian ruler. Would he have anyone who we could ally with? I don't think we do. How about other dukes in the realm? If no, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Click on that. So, if one duke is not living up to his roles and responsibilities as a good Christian ruler, then maybe it's the job of another duke to try and help us to relieve the suffering of, as I said, the people under his rule. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have any relatives that we could marry our son to. So that's not very helpful. Is there anyone else who is more powerful who is around? There isn't really. It doesn't look like there's a lot we can do. So in that case, I think perhaps what we do then is the relationship that we would go for would probably be, again, with our neighbour. That would probably make the most sense to me. So something along those lines. Local alliances, that's perhaps, I mean, we only exist on a very county-based level. Familiar reputation. Oh, very good. We are a count. We're not a duke in ourselves. I don't think we could be expected to try and take on someone so big as the neighbouring duke. Yes, if there was a large alliance going against him, then we could join that potentially, but there isn't, and I don't think we can possibly do anything against him on our own, which is a shame, because it seems that he is someone who would be worth putting to the sword, so to speak, in a very Christian kind of way. Trying to improve the situation over there and bring it back to God's good grace. But unfortunately, we don't seem to have that. So, what can we do? How do we move forward? I mean, we are obviously forming alliances. We've got a little block of allies here. The other people in the realm, corrupt officials in Orvieto. The officials of Orvieto have gained a reputation for being corrupt and morally flawed. Oh no, right, this is something we need to fix. Focused more on furthering their own interests than what is good for the community. Whether such an assessment is accurate or not, it will reflect poorly on me and my administration. I am displeased to hear this, but what can I do? We should take steps to curb their excesses. Yes, definitely. So, loses that and gains that. That's definitely what we would do. 100%. So anyway, what was I saying? The other people in the realm, there are some perhaps who maybe not as Christian as they ought to be. Let's have a look. So, he's honest, he's fickle, he's got a bad side in a way, but he's not too bad, he's not a terrible person. him we don't like so much. He wasn't nice to our son, to Giano, before he passed. So maybe that's something we do something about. But I don't think we go to war just because he's been mean to our son. I don't think that's us. And I don't think there's any evidence to show that he's not a good Christian ruler. Everyone else actually seems not too bad. The worst case is probably the Duke. But in some ways he seems to be reforming himself a little, maybe. It's difficult to know, isn't it? I mean, has he got any more kills to his name? No, he's just got that one, as far as we know, I suppose. I suppose what we could do is we could search for some evidence. That might be a good thing for us to do. Search for the secrets, send him to Florence, and just check. We have some suspicions. We're not sure about our liege, about the Duke, about whether he is actually trying to reform himself or not. So let's try and find out. Social manipulation. The first time it happened, I can barely even give it a moment's thought, but my Marshal Feridulf has grown bolder. His challengers no longer pass unnoticed at the council table. He is testing my limits. The others are sure to follow unless I give him a taste of his own medicine. So he's challenging us. This must be the boisterous warrior in him, perhaps, but I think even if he's challenged us, I don't think we threaten violence. I don't think we'd shout and scream at him. Tasks that are impossible to complete, I think that would go against our diligent trait, really. I mean, we like things to get done, and so I think giving him stuff to do that's going to be impossible to do is just pointless. So I think perhaps that one is the best one for us. It's not an easy one to do, but I mean he's. It says they're cruel. I'm cruel? I don't think I'm cruel, am I? No. So, I mean, let's just bring our Marshal back up. So it said on there that he doesn't like us because we're cruel. That's odd. Each friend adds stress. Okay. I think we carry on down the family one. I think that's us. That's odd. That really is odd. I think one thing that we haven't done that perhaps we should do and we would like to do is probably some pilgrimage at some point. But that's something, pilgrimage, something we can look at moving forward. Perhaps wait till we've got a little bit more spare cash to hand. Sweet smiles and little lies, just like other children his age, my son and heir Christian sometimes lies and tests boundaries. However, he often avoids suspicion with his sweet demeanour and and people always forgive him when he does get caught. I wonder just how much he gets away with. I will keep an eye on this one. Yeah, well, it's good that he's charming, and that's great. Obviously, we need to do something about that if lying becomes a problem. Things we share. When we talk about life, my wife and I often agree. I just know that Kat understands how I feel, how I view the world. I'm lucky to be with someone who understands me. So again, it was that moment of just serendipity. We're in that marketplace. We were buying whatever we were buying. Can't even remember what it was that we're buying now. And, we were there and she happened to be there and everything just clicked, and that was how it was. And that's how it seems to be with her. So, that's a really nice aspect to how things have worked out for us. We'll have a quick glance around the wider world, and then I think we're going to leave it there for today unless something particularly amazing pops up in a second. We're just looking for that for anything in this court. King of France, we've got Charles the Bald still. We've got our king. the original Ludwig the German has died. We've now got Ludwig the Younger. Again, he seems like a good Christian king and things, so he's a good carling, so he might be a better one for us to, again, if there was ever a dispute between our king and him, we'd perhaps side with him. I'm sure the carlings were they in power there as well? Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. I'm not sure. Yes, yeah, I'm sure they were, yes. So the carlings were Ludwig the German, so he was there, but no longer. So the carlings have lost this what would it be? Bavaria, would it be? Frozen pines. I wander a desolate, cold wilderness in my dreams, but by my side is Ferdulf, whose presence is comforting in this eternal labyrinth of snowy conifers and deathless silence. Then the sun sets, night begins, and where is Ferdulf? Ferdulf, I call that. Ferdulf. Nothing but the eternal labyrinth of snowy conifers and deathless silence. I panic. I wander the pines, desperately looking for my companion, and then light. A light whose source I do not know. A light that does not look like it belongs here. A light that shines in my eyes, and which I know prevents me from finding Ferdulf. I will find a way through, I exclaim before I wake up in a sweat. When I tell Ferdulf about the dream, he only gives me a quizzical smile. So, that's given me some stress, but I've gained opinion of Ferdulf and grown closer to forming a friendship with him, and he likes me a little bit more. Well, was an odd event, but, that certainly seems, that we're forming a friendship with him. But yes, I think we'll leave it at that for now. This has been another good little bit of progression, I think, in terms of our story at least. I mean, lots of sad events happening in our life. Everything seems to be going wrong, but we do have some positives. We've got our new sons. We've got our line will continue at least, but we do need to find a way forward. We've got a new alliance, and we're keeping an eye on our Duke, who we're not really sure of, and things, but we will see how we go. Pilgrimage in future, perhaps. Let me know what else you think we feel that we need to do. If there is something we can do against this guy who is excommunicated, if you think there's a way forward there, a way we can try and remove him from power, perhaps. I don't know. I don't see a way, but, I don't think we've even got any means to do anything. We can challenge him to a board game, but that's about as much as we seem to be able to do. So, we'll see how we go. Thank you for joining us as ever. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what you think and how we can improve things further. But until next time, as ever, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.